Tube. It is Friday, February 8th, and here in Lehi, Utah, the weather is cold and snowy. We really got slammed the last few days. Here in Lehi, we got 6 inches, which is probably the least amount of snow in the area. Most of the areas, especially up in Salt Lake and north, got at least a foot to a foot and a half of snow. So we're pretty layered over here with a lot of snow. Probably a lot like you guys in the north. Anyway, my name is Colette, and I'm thankful to have you here watching my floss tube, and I'm the highway stitcher, here to show you my stitching on the highway and at home. This week was more of a local highway stitching, and it was pretty special because we had our annual Utah Stitching Retreat, and it was held last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and it was at our friend Sandra Ball's home. She has an absolutely beautiful home. I posted some pictures on Instagram, and I had the comments from people that how beautiful they thought the home was. We had a wonderful time with lots of great food, lots of laughter, lots of conversation, stitching our pieces, lots of beautiful pieces sitting on the table, the show-off table, and lots of patterns, free and for sale. So it was pretty overall a really, really fun time. And I want to give a personal thank you to a person, Catherine, who on Instagram is Insanity Stitcher, and some of you who watch Handwork Maniac Floss Tube. She is Brenda's boss daughter, and she finished her Haid and brought it and showed it to us. At the end of this video, I'll show you pictures from the retreat, so you'll be able to see Catherine's finished Haid, which is absolutely beautiful. Anyway, she mentioned to us that she was waiting off to start another stitching piece. She was resting some, and that she was willing to anyone who would like to stitch on their piece, especially a piece that was giving them a lot of frustration. And I jumped at it. I said, me please, and asked her if she would stitch on a full coverage piece that I have that I'd started several times, but it was just boring me to pieces. It wasn't so much that it was a hard piece, but there was so much white in it, and it was really boring me. And she said she'd love to do that. So she spent, I believe it was Friday, she came in and spent all day Friday at the retreat stitching on my boring white full coverage piece on 25 count. Anyway, here's a picture of it. The pattern is a lace maker by Artisy Cross Stitch. As you know, I love to make lace, so I thought this was a perfect picture. I tend to be a person who likes confetti in a full coverage, keeps me from getting bored, and I forgot to look up in the upper left-hand corner of this piece and see that there's an awful lot of white and maybe a little bit of blue, light blue. So I started it, just hated it, put it down, and started up again on the different fabric, put it down again, didn't like that either. So I asked Catherine if she would grit it and stitch as much white as she could, so I would have less white to do. So she very nicely spent the day stitching it for me, and here's what she got accomplished. And man, looking at that grid there, she must have gotten 1, 2, 3, well, she got several hundred stitches, 400 or 500 stitches done on this. So I just appreciate her very much. She's such a sweetheart. And so anyway, some of my white is done, and my grading is also done. So I'm pretty excited about that. It was like getting double stitching done at the retreat. Anyway, also, probably I want to bring up the fact that I had lots of haul. Anyway, the haul was all free. Lots of people brought patterns, and they were just giving them away. I did end up purchasing a few of the patterns at a really, really inexpensive price, but most of these were free, and I was just amazed. I could not believe it, and I want to show you them. I'm not taking them out of the plastic, as there's tons of them here, and I'm not sure when I'm going to get around to stitching them, but I took them anyway because there were pieces I loved and decided I want to stitch them someday. This is Basketful of Summertime by Brenda Gervais. Let's see. Oh, there we go. And there, the plastic doesn't blind the picture. So anyway, that was one of them. The next one is Artful Offerings piece. I love Artful Offerings. And this one's Oh No, More Snow. Another one that I got was Brenda Gervais again, Hand in Chicks. Most of these you're probably very familiar with, but I just feel so grateful for the opportunity to have them have all these. So this is a Plum Street sampler piece, Soul Sisters. Also have some bigger pieces here. I generally haven't been a drawn thread enthusiast, but I did fall in love with this one, which was on the freebie table. It's called Moonlight Garden, and it just really intrigued me, so I picked this one up. I think it's so pretty. All the garden scenes in it. There was also a Brenda Keyes sampler company sampler on the table, free. This one's called Church on the Hill. I think Camwick Maniac did this piece. I'm not positive in that, Brenda, if you did this or not, but it is just so pretty. I just fell in love with it, so I also took this one. There were several Prairie Schoolers. I left a few for some people, took some myself. I had seen this one on Floss Tube and really liked it. Harvest Time. I know several of you have liked this one too. Also got Autumn Samplers. Really like all these Autumn Samplers here. And then the amazing thing is there were tons of Kathy Barrick's Carriage House Samplers. This is just a pile here, all free. I got the Stitcher's Prayer. Elizabeth. And the Birds and the Bees. I really like this one with the birds and the little deer. Cute. And My Hometown. Oh, this one is really nice. And then Molly with her cat. And several of the Hawk Run Hollow pieces. I have one Hawk Run Hollow, Farms at Hawk Run Hollow, that I just barely started. But I didn't have any of the others, even though I really liked them. So I picked these ones up off the freebie table also. This is Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow. Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow. The Shores of Hawk Run Hollow. Brenda's working on this one right now, of Hamwork Maniac. And Village of Hawk Run Hollow. That's like one of the famous ones. So those are all the freebie ones. Just amazing to me. I still can't believe this haul I have. And then I also bought some, this is an old Janlin kit. And it's called English Cottage Sampler. I saw somebody on Floss Tube show this one time. And I don't remember who now, but I just love it. And even though it's got a lot of quarter and half stitches as well as back stitching, I just fell in love with it. And this is the whole kit, the floss and the fabric and everything. So I thought that was a good buy. I also got this heirloom stitching sampler by Victoria Gardens. Victoria's Sampler, actually. Sorry about that. It also came with the fabric. And I've always liked that particular pattern too, with the stitchers on it. And then I picked up this Exemplar Dames design called True Wisdom. It's a Quaker sampler. So I really made out on this haul. Just amazing, amazing, amazing. So anyway, just another item that probably would go in like what you're most excited about this week, but it happened at the retreat. A friend of mine named Kathy had gone to Shepherd's Bush and picked up this needlework lotion. And it is just an amazing, amazing lotion. It's called Mater's Earth. This one is lemon biscotti. They have bigger bottles like this. And they also have little tiny small travel bottles. This one's called A Stitch in Time. And it says Needle Artist Lotion. And this particular flavor is grapefruit vanilla. And they are just wonderful. They're like so moisturizing, and they help your hands, repair your hands, the cracks and everything, and yet they aren't greasy. And they smell divine. And the site has all kinds of, I say flavors, all kinds of scents. They have orange vanilla and French lavender, green tea and jasmine, lemongrass mint, apricot freesia, grapefruit vanilla, and they even have one called Whiskey Angel for some of you that I know who would probably like to pick that one. Wish I could have you smell the scents. They are just absolutely to die for. Anyway, the site is www.soap, S-O-A-P, on a whim, W-H-I-M, soaponawhim.etsy.com. So they're on Etsy shop. And if you want to try them, give them a try. They are just wonderful. Really, really like them. As far as the rest of our retreat, I'm going to show you some pictures at the end of this video so you can see our show-off table and see pictures of what people were working on. And it was really fun. So anyway, back to what I was working on this last 2 weeks. I pretty much stuck to my my schedule, I would say. And I worked on 2 of my mystery cells during the week. Every day I alternated them. And then I also worked on the wisdom sampler starting at the retreat. So anyway, I'll show you what I accomplished for that. I finished the first block of Pumpkin Bill, Ice Skater. She is so darling. And this is on 28 count Heroic. That's not the called for fabric, but it is the called for DMC flosses. I'm gonna start working on the second block, which just came out. Frosted Pumpkin just came out with it. It's a bakery shop, so that will be my next one that I work on. Then I again picked up the Linen and Threads mystery cell, which I was calling the Peacock Sampler, but is actually a Peacock's Garden, and worked on a lot more of it. I finished the other leg of the peacock as well as his head, and then also finished this side here and back up that side. So got quite a bit done on it. The new section came out, and it's going to be the blocks, filling in the blocks around the peacock, so we can see where our next patterns will go. Okay, when I was at the retreat, that's when I picked up my sampler piece and started working on it again. And my plan is to work on it from now until I finish it. The piece is called Wisdom Sampler. It's by Vermilion Stitchery. Have to move back here so you can see it. And as you can see, I've got quite a bit of it done. I don't know why I just didn't end up finishing it. But now I am going to finish it. It is one of my Stitch 9 challenge pieces, and it's really doable, so I will definitely get it done. And it is going to be my focus piece for the next 2 weeks until I get back to you. It's being stitched on 32 count Zweigart linen color cream. I had to search for that because I started this piece about 8 years ago when I was still living in California, and just worked on it bits and pieces here and there. So I had to really search for that color to find, but I did find the name. And it's all of the call for DMC threads. I didn't do any fancy flosses on this. I hadn't even used fancy flosses back then. I started working on, I had stopped right about where that bird is there. Pulled this up. I started right about where the bird, right below the bird here on the branch, did the blue flower, also worked on all of that pink flower and all the shading, all the way down through the leaves. I also did this red division down here. I had finished the lettering and that division line there. But I did this red division line down here, and also did the division line there, which connected on to where it was about halfway done. So I think I did a pretty good amount at the retreat. There was a lot of changing colors, so it took a while. Probably going to work on what's inside the block next, and then move on to doing the other side, which is the same as this side, which is that blue vase and those flowers, and then put my name in the middle part there in the circle. This piece, as far as I know, is out of print, but you might be able to find it. At one time, Donna Giampa, who was the designer, she had passed away, and her daughter had reissued the pattern. So I keep hearing things back and forth on it, and sorry, I can't tell you for sure whether there is places to find it or not, but I would just check online, type in Wisdom Sampler and Vermilion Stitchery and see if you can find it. So that's it with what I was working on. Let's see what's next. Probably I would say my plans are next. Now I will be gone starting next Wednesday. I am heading down to Southern California to a lace retreat, and then I'm going to visit my sister who lives in a little town east of Murrieta, Temecula called Awanga. And I plan on spending almost 2 weeks there. So I'll be taking travel stitching with me. What I plan to do up until that time is alternate with my mystery sampler pieces and alternate them every day, and then work on Wisdom Sampler. Since I'm sure it won't be done when I leave, I'll bring those pieces with me. And I'm also going to bring another piece with me when I'm traveling, if I get done with Wisdom Sampler. And this was an enabling piece for me by my friend Kathy here in Utah. She was working on Prairie Schooler Santas, which a lot of you have seen, but she was putting them on this fabric here, which is called Clostern, 7-count Clostern fabric, and using pearl cotton, DMC3 pearl cotton, which covers it very well. I started this piece at Stitch Mania, and this part right here, of course, is his upper, Santa's upper part, just before his beard, which is going to start right there. And I worked on that for Stitch Mania for a few days and then quit. And I thought this is an easily doable one for the Stitch 9 challenge. Really is. I can finish that up with all that big, all that pearl cotton, using all that pearl cotton. So when I'm done with Wisdom Sampler, I'm going to go on and start working on this. Hopefully I'll be done with Wisdom Sampler before I come back to Utah, but if not, I'll start working on Santa there. Because I'd like to make it into a pillow, and it's been such an easy stitch. So I can check off another stitch on my Stitch 9 challenge. So I'll make it 2 and then 3. And just to let you know, the 7-count cloth turn does come in different colors. This one here that I just showed you was a sand, kind of a golden sand color, or brown sand, I would say. But they also have cream, navy blue, red, and even a pink sparkly one. At least at Shepherd's Bush up in Ogden they do. And I'm sure other places that carry a lot of thread, a lot of linen probably has it too. And you use a 17 needle and a number 3 pearl cotton. And they have a lot of colors of pearl cotton in stitching stores that you should be able to find. They don't have a whole lot of it in like Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, but I know they do in stitching stores, or you can order it online. So that's what my plans are going to be for the next 2.5 weeks. Pretty much work on Stitch 9 challenge pieces and also on my mystery cells. I will be so excited when I get done with that Wisdom Sampler. It'll be such a joy. Worked on it longer than probably any of my Stitch 9 pieces or Mania pieces that I've had. And let's see if I've forgotten anything else. Oh, I've been doing the Magical Stitches, the Facebook group, Magical Stitches, and I've been trying to incorporate my pieces into that. Some of them I've had to do an extra 200 stitches for, but that's all right, I guess. This week I was able to put in something that flies with my peacock mystery sampler, and something dark with my Words to Live By. And I'm also going to add the Prairie Santa for something that I was enabled on, which was I was enabled to start this pillow on the cloth turn by Kathy, my friend. So that was an enabling piece. And so, you know, I'm able to add some of the things to my potions week. And so it's been kind of fun to figure out what I can add and what I can't. If I don't, I just put in an extra 200 stitches or so. Let me see if there's anything else I have to cover. Some people had mentioned they wanted to see some of my lace. I actually can probably show you a lace piece real fast and tell you a little bit about it. So if any of you aren't interested in that, you can just turn me off now because I'm done with stitching. And I will turn this off for a second, go get the piece and bring it back. Okay, this is a Idria lace basket. Idria is a type of lace. It's a lace that is very heavy duty. It can be used a lot on clothing, stitched on clothing, stitched on bags, whatever. It's made with a very thick thread. Some of the lace is made with a really thin thread. It's also very colorful generally. There's a lot of color changes, or sometimes it's solid color. So it's very, very colorful and very fun to look at. I put it on that blue background so you could see it a little better, but I'll put it up like this too. It's a little easier to show by holding on to the piece. Idria lace is an easy lace to learn on. It is very easy to learn on. And it's actually very pretty. And it was one of the first laces that I learned. It was started in Slovenia, and it has been going on for a long time. They have a lace school in Idria in Slovenia that teaches children and adults how to do this particular kind of lace. And it's still going now. The school's still going now. So anyway, that's one piece of lace I decided to show you. And so I'm going to stop now and tell you that please remember to see the beauty in all around you, at home, and when you travel. Thank you so much for joining me, and please subscribe if you like what you see. If not, don't give me any down thumbs, please. But anyway, I appreciate whoever's watching, and I will insert some pictures here at our stitching retreat, and wish you all a great couple of weeks and happy stitching. Bye.